Welcome to the Positive Sports Podcast. I'll be your host this evening, Ed Montana. Alongside me today, sans hat. No hat today.
No hat.
My brother Alex. Alex, how you doing, buddy?
Feel pretty naked today, but that's okay.
There's a bit of a breeze in here.
For those looking over on YouTube, I'm naked.
No, you're not. Because
I am.
you'd be doing this podcast by yourself.
In my mind.
Thank goodness it's only there.
Shit.
Because we don't want to see that.
I might say I look pretty spiffy. If you're listening on Podbean and iTunes, you should go check us out on YouTube and just look at me. Don't worry about the guy in the white shirt.
Don't look at the guy in the white shirt.
So, quick backstory. I was called boring.
Okay.
Yeah. And so...
By a listener?
Yes.
Oh.
And so I was a little...
I agree.
I was a little offended.
Oh,
so,
you're sensitive.
That's right. You know, you tickle my pickle a little bit.
Oh, he's got his feelings hurt.
I said, oh yeah, well make sure you check out Positive Sports episode number 92.
Which would be this one.
Because I'm not going to wear a white shirt this time. And
Is that why you were called boring?
Yes.
And look at me.
And look at you.
White shirt.
So now...
Who's the boring one?
Who's the boring one?
Well,
you're going to stand out to this listener.
Well, that's not good. Well, I'll be the boring one today. I'll tell you who's not boring when it comes to looks.
Who that?
That pitcher from the A's, Mike Fierce. Did you see that thing? I don't even know what to call it. For the listeners out there that missed it, Mike Fierce, a pitcher for the Oakland A's, I guess he grew a beard and then only shaved a piece of it.
Is that?
And he had... I mean, it started off as a beard, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
I don't know. I hadn't seen him in a few weeks. But it started one sideburn. It came down, wrapped, went across his chin, and then wrapped up and around to his mustache. It's a piece of work. I liked it.
Cattail. That's what it looked like. It looked like a cattail.
Like he had a cat sitting on his head, and the tail had just come down. You know what? That's probably about right.
That's what it looked like when I first saw it. Or that's one hell of a sideburn. Gotta be.
That's more than a sideburn because it becomes a middle burn and then a top burn. I mean, it's a lot of burn.
It's so long it curls around.
Yeah, that's what you call
the snake.
Some long time. The snake. Mike the Snake Fierce. I loved it, Mike. Do it again, brother.
By the way, Mike is pitching great. I don't know what
he's having a great season.
He's having a pretty good season.
Oh yeah,
for a contending team. So
the A's very much look the part of a playoff team. It's unfortunate because here's the thing. I think if the A's were in the Central, that would be a hell of a race between those three teams. Yeah. Because I think they're just as good as Minnesota and Cleveland. Maybe a little bit less. Just the pop in the lineup is not quite the same. But unfortunately, they play in a division with the Astros, which, the Astros are odds-on favorite to win the World Series. And obviously you got the Yankees and Tampa on the other side. But they're good. And here's the thing. They're going to, if they make the playoffs, which right now they're in the first spot, they're going to give people problems. They have played the Astros very good all year. They've played them, 116 times. I think they've split. They played the Yankees really well here recently. Mm-hmm. They're a good team. They're going to be a problem for somebody. Somebody's going to see them in the playoffs and go, oh, God damn.
You think so?
Yeah.
The A's always do this. They find a way to creep into the playoffs, but they never go further than the divisional round. You know what I mean? It always happens. It's always happened.
Right,
like that.
But to be fair, they're always going up against the buzzsaw, right? Like, I don't know. Yeah. Would they have to go up against the best record? They would have to go up against the best record if they won the wild card, which is likely going to be, well...
As of now, it's the Yankees.
Yankees?
I believe.
98. Yankees and Astros are tied.
They're tied? Okay.
Well, they better hope it's the Astros, because they've played the Astros really well. I mean, well, then again, the Astros are really good. Yeah. I don't know. But of course they got to get past Tampa Bay or Cleveland in the wild card game. But
yeah, they're not beating the Yankees or the Astros.
Yeah, I mean I wouldn't think so. But I mean they're at 90 wins. That's much respect.
Yeah,
they're good.
That is pretty good. I mean 90 wins in the National
Get your division.
Yeah.
And as you running away with the Central. You'd be 6 games up in the Central. So yeah, the playoff picture in the American League is pretty much done. I mean, yeah, you still have maybe a little bit of drama. The A's are a game and a half ahead of Tampa. Tampa's got the second spot, and Cleveland's a game and a half behind. You know, we're running out of games here. We've only got 11, 12, 13 games maybe.
Cleveland has really tail spun a little bit.
They can't beat Minnesota.
Can't
That's
beat
a problem.
Yeah.
That's a problem.
You got to give it to Minnesota. They spent a lot of money on players in the offseason, and it's kind of paid off, I would say. Yeah. Right?
Well,
they're trying to win, obviously.
And quite frankly, I mean, their pitching has been better than expected.
I didn't expect the pitching
to be this good. And they've got the most home runs in baseball, so the hitting is obviously doing its thing. But it's impressive.
You had the Twins, by the way.
I had the Twins winning, right? I thought they would.
Division.
Upset the apple cart there.
Yeah.
And win the division. Yeah. And it looks pretty good. They're up 4.5 on the
4.5
on the Indians. 4.5 with 11 to play. That's tough.
Yeah.
If you do the math, they'd have to. If they just go 500, they just go 5-5. The Indians have to go 9-2, or 10-3 or whatever it is, whatever the numbers are. But it's
Now the National League is where it's really kind of narrowed down to 2 teams, maybe, right?
Well,
because I mean if it was maybe a week ago or 2 weeks ago where you had 6 teams that were. Well, I'm not counting the San Francisco Giants, but the Diamondbacks, the Phillies, the Mets, Milwaukee, and the Cubs were all fighting for that number 2 wild card spot.
Right.
And now it's the Milwaukee's 1 game behind, the Mets are 4, and the Phillies are 4.5. This might be over too.
Here's the interesting thing over in the National League. Highly improbable, but it could happen. We could end up with a 6-way tie for the wild card, which would be, for a country that hates soccer because of the ties, we as a country would love it if we had a 6-way tie for the wild card.
More baseball.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, the Nationals would have to go on a bit of a tailspin, and the teams like the D-backs and the Phillies would have to get hot, right? But it would be incredibly fascinating if also. Do you know what happens if 6 teams tie for the wild card?
It's one big ass battle royal in the middle of the field.
That's the way they should do it, right? Have an over the top battle royal.
That's right. Call Vince McMahon.
Each team it's 6 guys. Each team sends their 4 best guys in for a battle royal.
Yes.
Well, actually, it does kind of come out to be a bit of a battle royal. So what they do is they will take the head-to-head record between the 6 teams and rank them 1 through 6. 1 and 2 will get a bye.
Okay.
3 will play 6. 4 will play 5. The winners of those games will play the 1 and 2 who got the bye. And then the winners of that game will play the wild card game, which is technically the beginning of the playoffs.
Wow. So this could be like a 166-game season for some teams.
For them, it would be if one of the bottom-ranked teams won out, it would be 3 games to get to the divisional round.
Oh yeah,
that would be. I mean, I'm a Met fan. I want the Mets to make the playoffs, but I'm telling you, I would be rooting because think about it. If you have to play 3 do or die games. I mean, that's just if you're a fan of that team. Like if you're a fan of let's say us, right? Let's say the Mets end up in that bottom half, in the bottom 4. That first game, I mean, it feels like a playoff game. Well, no one else is playing.
Well, let me start by
except for you wacky wild card wannabes.
Well, you might as well just admit me to the hospital, hook me up to an IV because that's going to be a lot of heart attacks.
That's a lot of stress. And then you win that game. And guess what? You got to play another wild card wannabe game to become a wild card.
Now, are these all back to back?
I would
guess so, right?
It's like a 3-game series.
Because the tiebreaker that they did last year in the National League, those were all back to back.
Yeah. How cool would that be?
I don't know, man. That's pretty stressful.
Dude, I am I am keeping my fingers and my toes crossed. I know it's not going to happen, right?
No.
There's no
it's
way.
Not.
But boy, I tell you what, I am rooting for the Nationals to lose and the D-backs to win.
So, yeah, I mean, that'd be a lot of fucking baseball.
As it is, it could end up being a 3-way tie.
Yeah.
Between Washington, Chicago, and Milwaukee. 2.5 games separates all three of those teams. And you know what? St. Louis is only 2 ahead of Chicago. If they stumble, we could end up with a 3-way tie for the division and a 3-way tie for the second wild card. I don't know how they do that.
That would be amazing.
That would be fantastic too. And all the while, the Dodgers and the Braves are sitting there going, "Look at these idiots! Look at these idiots!"
Seriously, I mean, if that were to happen, the team that come out, I mean, they stand no chance.
Well, kind of not, right? Because you get that momentum. You know how it is in baseball. Sometimes you get momentum like that. I think the Dodgers are having a little bit of a hard time because they clinched so early. They got 2 weeks of playing meaningless baseball. It's hard to then kickstart it back up to playing meaningful baseball and more meaningful than they've played all year long.
Yeah, no, I mean, I don't know. Baseball is long already as it is, having to play all these extra games.
I'll tell you what, the Mets would be the perfect team for that situation
because they got the pitching.
Even if they end up in the bottom 4, right? Because they could throw DeGrom, Syndergaard, Stroman, and then Wheeler, Matz for a 4th game, which would be game 1 of the divisional series, assuming they won out, and then come right back with so they could. That's a situation that would not be catastrophic for them. Although they'd have to play the Dodgers, which, yikes, I don't think I want to play the Dodgers ever.
So, I mean, the Nationals have control of the first wild card, and the Cubs have the second, and then Milwaukee 1 game out. I mean, do you give the other teams a chance, or are they done?
They've got a small chance. And
but are they done, or?
No, they've got a chance. Right?
Yeah, no, but do you think they're done?
I think the Mets are still playing like a team that very much wants to get into the playoffs. Look.
I can't agree with that.
Why not?
Because you can't lose 2 out of 3 to the Dodgers. You just can't. Not at this point you can't.
They're the Dodgers, bro. They didn't...
Doesn't matter.
When they met a team that they were kind of looked at eye to eye.
Yeah.
They swept them, right? Arizona's in the same boat they are. They swept them.
Arizona's not that good. They're not that good.
No. But neither are the Mets. You're wanting to take 2 out of 3 from the best team in the league.
Absolutely. When you have the lead in the 8th inning last night, absolutely. Yes.
I get it. You want to take those games, but the fact of the matter, they didn't piss away 2 out of 3 to the Marlins. You know what I mean?
They will.
They won't. Anyway, again, it was a competitive series. I see them still kind of working towards it. You know what I mean? Like, they're still working to win ball games. Arizona, they played a playoff series here with us, and we beat the brakes off of them, right? The Mets beat the brakes off of them.
Yeah, the Mets are a little better than Arizona. Arizona's not that
good. Philadelphia looks like they're fading fast.
They're definitely
they're struggling.
And that's it.
They don't. I mean, they can't even show up for their best pitcher, right? Nola. I mean, they just don't seem to. And I've said this for a while. They seem to just be stumbling and stumbling. They just don't seem like they're quite in it. And so I give them less of a chance. I think the Mets are really the only ones that, out of those 3, that might get into the conversation. Yeah. But even for them, it's a far-flung. It's a far way to go.
Well, they got 4 games to make up in 10 games, right?
10, 11, 12, something like that. 11 or 12, I think. It's actually more than 10. But
I was looking at their elimination number.
Yeah, it's going to be tough for sure. Certainly not the situation you want to be in. But it happens.
There are 7 players in Major League Baseball with 40 or more home runs.
7?
The 7th just hit one.
Wow.
Recently. You want to take a stab at Naming them?
So it's Trout,
Yeah.
Alonso,
Yeah.
Yelich.
Okay.
God, there's got to be someone from the Yankees and the Twins in there.
Are you asking me or telling me?
I'm telling you.
Oh, okay.
Am I right? Oh, Bellinger from the Dodgers.
Bellinger.
Is there one from the Yankees and the Twins?
There's not. There's not.
Wow.
Two-
Those are the two highest home run hitting teams. Look at that.
Yeah. Two of them.
Goldschmidt.
No. One of them you will not get. Two of them, maybe not. So you got the...
Bregman doesn't have 40, does he?
No.
There's no one on the Indians that has 40.
No. Rockies?
Oh, Arenado.
Okay, that's the easy one. Ready?
Yeah.
Reds.
Oh, what's his face?
I hope that's not his name.
No. Fuck. The Canadian guy.
No.
Not Joey Votto?
No.
The name just came in.
Yeah, I know.
Not the new guy.
Puig? No, not Puig. Who? I don't even know the new guy.
Antique or whatever the...
Oh, no. Archimedes or
Oh,
something?
yeah. Arachnoid?
Third baseman? He's good.
He is.
Yeah.
And I can picture him, but I can't remember his name.
Eddie Suarez?
Eddie
Suarez, that's his name.
Okay, who's the other one?
This one blew my mind because I
Well, give me the team first.
the fucking Royals.
Come on.
The Royals.
Unless it's Salvador Perez, I don't know anyone on the Royals.
He played for the Cubs.
The Cubs.
When his name, when they mentioned him as a 40 home run guy, I'm like, what?
He still played for the Cubs?
Yeah, like I didn't.
I have no idea.
You have no idea. I did not either. I thought he got suspended for steroids once, and I looked it up, and he did not.
Oh man, you just badmouth him for
Yeah, I know, man.
You're a dick.
Jorge Soler.
Oh yeah, Soler.
Dude, I'm like, he's got 44 home runs. Where the fuck did he come from? Yeah, I know. That's what I said.
That's amazing.
Pretty crazy.
Good for him.
Suarez and Alonso are tied for first with 47 home runs.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So there's that.
Yelich and Trout are done for the year. Bellinger is...
Yelich is not, I mean, regular season, yeah, but he...
Oh, yeah.
Trout
Trout's
only
done.
plays in the regular season, and...
That poor guy.
And
he's done.
That's the right move by him. Whoever's decision that was.
Oh, yeah. At this point...
Now, which one of those wins MVP? Or has the better chance of winning MVP for their league?
Well, I think in the National League it's going to be Bellinger.
Okay.
I think no question.
No question? Landslide? It's got to be close.
I don't think it's going to be close. I don't think it's going to be a landslide, but I don't think it's going to be particularly close.
Now it's not going to be close.
Because Yelich is going to lose the last 3 weeks of the season. So that makes it tough.
Yeah.
And then you add to that the fact that they may not make the playoffs.
Right.
So I think Bellinger is going to win.
Yeah, okay.
Let's call it comfortably.
Okay.
And then in the American League...
I mean, who's is it Gleyber Torres in the mix?
I mean, Torres has got to be in the mix. Bregman's got to be in the mix.
Well, you got to put Jorge Soler in there. He's got 44 home runs.
Yeah, but he plays on the worst team.
Fuck LeMahieu.
LeMahieu's had a great year.
He actually has.
The Astros, the Astros kind of cannibalize their own votes, right?
Nelson Cruz
with the Twins, maybe.
Bregman 36 home runs. Gleyber Torres with 37.
Bregman is probably the leader from the Astros in terms of MVP numbers.
Yeah, I mean, well, he's
because he hasn't missed any significant time, whereas Altuve did.
As far as players that are in the mix, Bregman leads with 104 RBIs.
Oh,
right?
Yeah.
I mean,
any chance a pitcher gets MVP?
We
haven't had a dominant.
Well, I'll tell you what.
In the National League, we haven't really had a dominant pitcher.
Now that you mention it, the American League MVP doesn't look clear cut to me. So Verlander,
Right. That's why I said that, because there's so many guys in the mix that maybe a pitcher could sneak in, like Verlander, right?
Well, I mean, Kershaw has done it 1 year, right? So
yeah, but that was a dominant season.
Yeah, fucking Verlander's pretty
on a down year hitting wise in the National League, right? When he did that, I don't know. That'd be interesting.
I would love to compare those two numbers, right? Kershaw.
It's gonna be interesting for the MVP in the American League.
Yeah, I mean,
it's funny because the playoff races are boring as hell,
right?
But the MVP race,
will
be interesting.
You think the Angels regret Mike giving the deal to Mike Trout? I mean, because at what point? But at what point do you say, okay, we got to move on? I mean, what are we trying to build? Like, they're not.
I think
they don't need him for marketing because they're on the West Coast and they just don't get a lot of,
But I think when you have a player like that Mike Trout, when Mike Trout is done, barring significant injury, I believe we're gonna talk about him with the true greats of the game. I'm talking about he's going to be up there in the conversation with the greatest of the greats in the game. And I think when you have a player like that, even if it kind of hamstrings you a little bit in terms of building a championship squad, I think you do whatever it takes to keep him. That's my opinion. It's my opinion and my preference. Even as a fan, like if the Mets had a player like that, I would want to keep that guy forever. And I really
sacrifice winning a championship or trying to build a championship team.
Look, I still think it can be done, right? The Yankees had Derek Jeter, who we'll talk about as one of the greatest players ever, and built several championships around him.
But there was a squad. I mean,
They spent a lot of money. You're gonna have to spend money, right? Which I don't know if the Angels are willing to do or not. But again, it's tough. I see your point, and I believe it's all about championships, and I agree with that to an extent. But when you have Mike Trout's going to be an iconic player.
Oh yeah, I mean when you're compared to when you're putting up numbers like Mickey Mantle did and all them, I mean he's going to get talked about, but I'm looking at it from an owner's perspective, from the franchise perspective. Like, what are we doing? What are we trying to build?
Yeah, but don't you think?
And you would think
I don't know how exactly it all works business wise, but don't you think the Angels are seeing a significant return on their money for Mike Trout?
Then they're content with that. They're not. I mean,
right. Well, but a minute ago, what are we arguing here, or what are we discussing here? Are they getting what they're paying for, or are they going to build a championship?
Well, what they're paying for is for the name. They're not building nothing.
Right, no. But I guess that's my question to you: is what is your problem with shelling out all that money for that guy and not winning a championship? Is it that you're not winning a championship, or is it that you don't think they're getting a return on their money?
They're not winning a championship.
Okay, so you're going for the championship angle, and that's what I'm saying.
But what's their return though for that?
I think financially, I think they're doing okay.
I don't think. I'm sure they are. I'm sure they are.
You own a baseball team, you're probably doing okay.
But they could probably do better. They're on the West Coast. Nobody watches Mike Trout. Only the people in California watch Mike Trout. We don't watch Mike Trout. Let's be honest. We don't.
That's not entirely true.
We don't, Ed. People in Boston, Philly, New York don't watch. Even here in the Central, we don't watch Mike Trout. The only time here in Houston we watch Mike Trout is when the Angels come into town. Other than that, we're not staying up for a late game to watch him.
But that's true of all the West Coast teams.
Yeah, but all the West Coast teams don't have Mike Trout.
Well, the Dodgers spend a shit ton of money. No one's staying up to watch the Dodgers.
The Dodgers are a much more prolific franchise than...
Right, but they're spending a shit ton of money on their roster as well.
Right, and they're making the playoffs every year.
Right, but they're not winning championships.
No, but they're coming pretty damn close.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think personally, I feel like this is a. Am I putting too many eggs in one basket in order to build a true championship squad? Because from a financial perspective, I think the Angels are doing great, right? Like I think shelling out all that money and Mike Trout performing the way he performs, I think they're getting value for their money, and I think they're getting a great return. They're probably making a ton of money, selling a shit ton of jerseys, yada yada yada.
The fans don't care about that. The Angels.
No, I understand that, but I'm talking about me personally. So it's just from a can we build a championship team shelling out so much money for one guy? Probably not, unless you're willing to spend at the rate that the Yankees and Red Sox are willing to spend. And for me personally, I'm okay with doing my damnedest to win a championship and still shelling out a lot of money to keep a player that is going to go down as one of the greatest players ever.
If the Mets were doing that, there's no way you would be okay with that. There's if they had David Wright, and David Wright was equivalent to what Mike Trout is, and we weren't winning, I don't give a flying duck about David Wright. I want to win. I want a championship.
Yeah.
As a fan, I want a championship. The Angels don't care about Art Moreno, whatever his name is, his checkbook and his bank account. They care about going and watching a team win. So,
right.
That's what I'm saying. Like, they're not trying to win. They're just content with having Mike Trout and, selling out the ballpark every night and people buying his jersey, and that's it. It seems like it to me.
As a fan, I always want to pursue a championship, but I would want to pursue the championship with that guy on my roster. He's going to be, again, barring injury, he is going to be one of the most prolific players we've ever seen.
Without a ring.
Without a ring. Ask people in Philly how they feel about Charles Barkley and Allen Iverson. Love them to death. 0 rings.
Yeah.
Sometimes, I get your point. I'm not saying who cares about championships. I'm not saying that. But it's just when you have an iconic player, God, I'm telling you, if Mike Trout was on the Mets and the Mets had doled out a bunch of money, I'd be okay.
Felicia, no way. Bro,
I would be okay with that.
Hell no. There's no way.
Are you talking about me or
you could be okay? No, just in general. There's no way the Mets fans. There's no way. You're totally wrong.
I'm not talking about Mets fans. I'm talking about me.
I think.
I can't speak.
I think people in the East Coast. You're from the East Coast. You've gone completely south. But people from the East Coast, people in the East Coast, there's no way they would be okay with that.
I don't think they'd be okay with it.
No way.
But I would be.
Yeah, I wouldn't be.
I would be. I would be okay with it, and I would say, keep trying to build this team, even with that, keeping that iconic player.
If Pete Alonso ends up being somewhat what Mike Trout was, whatever, and we have nothing to show for it, I don't care what the owners are making. Ship his ass out, rebuild this thing. That's right, damn it.
Yeah, well, you're entitled to that opinion. I agree with you. I think most Mets fans would agree with you.
Yeah.
Anyway. All right, we beat the hell out of baseball.
Yeah.
Or at least that crazy conversation.
All right, some football talk now.
Boy, it's really kind of sad when the topics of conversation for this week are not good. Right? Drew Brees, injury. Ben Roethlisberger, big injury. Odell Beckham Jr. going back to New York. I have heard that guy has talked about New York non-stop.
We should have, now that I think about it, now that you mention it, we should have reached out to Odell. But like, Odell, we want to ask you a whole bunch of questions about New York and the New York Giants. I bet you he would have came on this show.
Oh, yeah. Well, he doesn't need to because ESPN has had their microphone in front of his face all week, and that's all he has talked about. The only thing he said of interest to me was when he was talking about Greg Williams teaching dirty shit to the Jets defense. Because that's about the game that they're going to play.
Right.
All the other stuff, I don't care.
This is the beauty about football. It changes from week to week. Like, everything looks different. Everything looks different now for the Saints, let's say, after they won that last minute game against the Texans, right? And things look real different for Pittsburgh now that they lost 2 in a row, got spanked the first week, lost a close one yesterday to the Seahawks, and now
I'll tell you what looks the same.
Mason Rudolph is coming in.
I'll tell you, don't sleep on Mason Rudolph. That guy was slinging the football like nobody's business at Oklahoma State. I think he's going to do all right. He's not going to be as good as Ben, but I think he's going to do all right. It's going to hurt them. It's going to cost them a few wins for sure, but they're not going to go 0-16. Unlike the Miami Dolphins. The Dolphins are going 0-16.
They got a win in them.
Who are they going to beat?
Somewhere.
Who, at the risk of your head getting any fatter, they're not going to beat the Patriots. This is where your head gets fat. They're not going to beat the Bills. They're not going to beat the Jets.
Dude, they played the Patriots real tough, except for yesterday. Before well, you can count yesterday. They won 5 out of 7 against the Patriots, bro.
Yeah, they're not winning. They didn't win yesterday, and they ain't winning the next one, which is part of the 16 games that we're talking about here.
Oh,
they're going 0-16.
By the way, my strategy for the eliminator is pick whoever the Dolphins are playing.
Yeah, I mean the only time you run into problems is when they play New England,
right.
Buffalo, and the Jets for the second time. Well, then you're gonna have to find another one.
Right, that's okay.
But I mean, like this week, I didn't pick against the Dolphins in the eliminator. I went a different way and won.
I already picked.
So I still have,
Right.
And look, quite frankly, that's not the only team that's going to give them that's going to give 0-16 a run for their money, because the Bengals look like shite.
Yeah.
The Bengals look horrific. Apparently, you have cursed them for 2 years now.
Sweet.
Picking them last year, sent them in the shitter last year and this year.
Cincinnati fans,
you're welcome.
You're welcome.
I mean, it's just that's a shit show all the way around. And you know what? The Giants look like a bit of a shit show.
They do. I can see it coming, but they do.
I mean, they're not going to go 0-16. They're going to win some games, but first 2 weeks, and I don't think this is Overreaction Monday. It's not looking pretty.
It is Monday.
But everything I've said so far is not an overreaction.
The Bills won.
That's an overreaction.
No, it's not. It's a fact.
Well, but that's a fact. But go ahead and say your next statement, because your next statement is an overreaction.
What is my next statement?
Something about them going 11-5 and winning the East or something like that.
The Buffalo Bills are going to play. Who are they playing next week?
I don't know.
The Bills are going to play somebody next week, and there you go. That's my hot take. I told you the Bills got a very favorable schedule the first 8 games. 6-2 is what I see in the forecast.
4-4. I'm sticking to 4-4. I'm not breaking. The Texans. Oh my God, there's so many. There's so many oddball things that are going on between the injuries and just the start to the season. The Panthers look like shit. The Texans look like shit offensively. The Jaguars, I thought might be a little bit better, but they have gone to pieces. Their defense is fighting with the coach. Their offense is run by a dude with a sweet mustache.
Now that's
I still can't pronounce his name.
That's Baker Mayfield 2.0 right there.
That kid?
Yeah. Did you see him with how he dresses and with the headband? And I mean, he looked just like Baker Mayfield.
But it's a fresh mustache.
Ramsey's supposedly asked for a trade now, so
maybe they could trade him.
They're gonna blow it up.
Wouldn't it be great if they traded him to Miami?
Oh my God! You know what? Shaka Khan, what's his name? The owner. It's Khan something. Shaka Khan of the Jaguars. He's too nice of a person to do that to him.
God, that would be awesome. We were treated to a good game last night, Atlanta and Philadelphia.
It was only good because of the result.
No, that was a good game.
I haven't seen a game with that many hard hits in a while in football. They were hitting each other pretty damn hard.
It almost seemed it almost seemed like a divisional game.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
they
yeah.
were just going at it, and there was a lot of jawing going on. I was like,
Well, you know,
"My
they've played 2 years in a row now. Once in the
Well, yeah, but
playoffs
that's not-
last
But
year.
that's not uncommon.
It's not, but you know, you got.
You play teams in your conference.
Yeah, but you know, when you're playing back to back years like that,
I guess
you just see more of each other, right? So
the Cowboys look good. They're 2-0. There's some stuff that is very clear. Don't expect a lot of points from a game with the Chicago Bears. Don't expect a whole lot of points from a game with the Denver Broncos. I mean, those two offenses are terrible.
yeah, pretty bad.
I mean, that game was on yesterday, and I was like, no, nothing to see here. I mean, it's
They showed that game.
at the bar, yeah.
Oh, I didn't watch
There's-
no afternoon games.
There's nothing to see there. The Packers are 2-0.
I'm surprised.
I'm a little surprised, but Minnesota doesn't look. They're not blowing the doors off anybody.
Again, this is the NFL for you. They looked real good against the Falcons. The Falcons looked really bad. The Falcons come out last night, looked really good, but then the Vikings, you know,
Laid an egg.
laid an egg against the Packers. So
Hey, look, here's a surprise. The 49ers.
there's 3 teams in the NFC West that are 3-0.
2-0.
2-0, right?
We've
2.
only had 2 weeks.
Yeah, I'm getting ahead of myself.
But maybe they'll be 3-0 next week.
Maybe.
Yeah, that's amazing. And of course, then you've got Arizona, who's 0-1-1.
Yeah.
Terrible.
Murray actually didn't look bad yesterday from the highlights
He
that I saw.
hasn't looked bad. He hasn't looked terrible. But that's not a good team.
How good are the Kansas City Chiefs? They play the Ravens next week. The Chiefs opened up a 7-point favorite, which I find kind of high.
Yes and no.
I think Vegas is saying the Chiefs are too good,
I think that Vegas is saying,
or doesn't believe the hype.
Yeah, I think Vegas
that?
is saying, let's see how they do with a good team.
Think so?
Yeah, who did the Ravens? The Ravens have beaten
Played
the Cardinals,
Arizona.
the Cardinals,
And the
and
Dolphins.
Miami.
Yeah.
So
Well,
they-
who have the Chiefs beaten?
Certainly, it's got to be better than the Dolphins and
Yeah,
Miami.
look, I mean,
And the
are
Dolphins
they?
and the
They're
Cardinals.
both 0-2 though. The teams,
Who have they
Jaguars
beat?
and the Raiders. Well, the Raiders are 1-1, but the Raiders are the Raiders.
But that's a divisional game. It's a little
Yeah.
bit tougher.
Yeah, but they beat them by 2 touchdowns. That's an interesting one to me. It's a little.
That number seems high, like on
Yeah.
the face, right? When you got 2-0 teams. Say that fast 3 times. But I feel like that's Vegas saying. I think that's more of a comment from Vegas on the Ravens than it is
Yeah.
on the Chiefs.
I
I
think
think they're not quite ready to believe in the Ravens.
I think that number will come down a little bit. I just thought it was a little, interesting.
Yeah, it is kind of high.
Since I like to bet a quarter or 2 on a game or 2.
Well, let's see.
Who else?
Who do you think wins tonight between the Jets and the Browns?
The Browns win. The Jets cover. The Browns.
It's 6.5.
Yeah,
That's a big number.
That's a big number.
Yeah, and
And
the Browns aren't that good.
I think the Jets are gonna play all right.
Here's the
I
thing.
think I think Bell's gonna go off today
I think
or tonight.
Vegas is still Vegas sets the line, but then it moves based on the money. And I don't
Yeah.
know what this line started at, but I'm sure that
2.5
okay, and it's been
since
wagered all the
Darnold.
way-
Since the moment Darnold was out.
right. So that's part of it.
Yeah.
But the other part of it too is people are still drinking the Cleveland Browns Kool-Aid, and I'm not sold.
So you're overreacting. It's week 2.
I'm not overreacting. I think the public is overreacting.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I think people are still gonna be on that train.
Yeah, and Odell with the watch and it's too much. I can't deal with it.
Well, you don't have to watch.
I'm not going to.
I am.
I'm gonna go get some food because I am starving.
What are you gonna eat?
I don't know, but I gotta get some food. I'm dying.
You need to get some food.
We gotta. Okay, how much the Roethlisberger's out for the year?
Right.
What did you think the Steelers' record was going to be before the season started? You may actually have it.
No, I don't think I wrote it down. I know that I didn't have them winning the division like you did. You did not have them winning the division.
Yeah, easy.
But you had to make. You did not have them. I thought you said they were gonna.
I thought they would be in the mix, but not quite.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I didn't think so either. I mean, no more than 9 games.
Yeah,
before the season.
9 and 7,
Yeah,
8.
even 9 and 7 is stretching, really.
Before the season started. I'm not talking about now.
Yeah. Before the season started, I think 9 was.
What do you think they're at now?
Starting 0-2.
So yeah, the benefit of knowing they're 0-2, and they've lost their quarterback.
4.
Ooh.
I'm lowballing 4.
I was thinking 6.
Well, then it might be 5, right in the middle.
Well, you got to figure. I didn't think they were going to be 2-0 at this point.
So at 4-12 or 6-10, does Tomlin stick around?
When you lose your franchise quarterback, they're not going to fire him.
Not gonna fire him? Okay.
Yeah, like if they had gone 6-10 with Ben in there all year, yeah, he's getting fired. Maybe yeah. And at 4-12, there might be some discussion.
Yeah.
Ben's done for the year.
He's done for the year.
Right.
Yeah.
Let's go to the other injury. Drew Brees.
Mm-hmm.
What did you have him at before the season started? You had him in the playoffs for sure.
I did not have them in the playoffs.
You didn't have them in the playoffs?
I do not.
Okay.
So this may work out for me.
But now realistically, thinking back to before the season started, what did you think they were? How many wins?
10.
10, and they were just going to get
They were going to be the odd team out, is what I kept saying. Yeah.
Okay. Drew Brees is out for at least 6 weeks.
Uh-huh. They're 1-1.
It's a thumb issue, which...
Throwing hand.
On his throwing hand.
Did you see him on the sideline grabbing that football?
No, because he couldn't grab the football.
Did you see him attempt?
Yes.
Yeah, that was pretty bad.
Now that we know they're 1-1 and they're losing their quarterback for at least the next 6 weeks,
right?
Going to require surgery, right?
Yes.
So now we know. Now that we know the Saints are 1-1, have lost their quarterback for at least 6 weeks, who requires thumb surgery. How many? You didn't have him making the playoffs,
right?
So they're not going to make the playoffs.
Right.
How many wins you got him at now? From 10 down to what?
Down to 9.
That's it?
That's it.
So you mean to tell me you think Big Ben is more valuable to the Steelers than Drew Brees is to the Saints?
Drew Brees is coming back. And not to mention, I feel Teddy Bridgewater will fit in that offense. And not to mention, they got Michael Thomas, Alvin Kamara. I mean, they still got a good. I think. Well, I mean, and the Steelers got Connor, but Connor's hurt too now.
Right.
And they got Juju. I think overall the Saints team is a little more complete, still without their quarterbacks.
I think.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I had him making the playoffs, and I actually had him going to the Super Bowl. I don't think they make the playoffs missing Drew Brees for 6 games. And that's assuming he just misses 6 games.
Right.
I think it's a big hit. You're right, they do have a lot of weapons. But
Sean Payton's a better coach than Mike Tomlin.
I don't know about all that. Not only, I understand that the Saints have better weapons than the Steelers do, but I feel like Drew Brees is the heart and soul of that team. And Ben Roethlisberger is the heart and soul of his team, but it's not as... I don't know. I think the heartbeat of that team is spread out among several people, whereas I think on the Saints, Drew Brees is the heart and soul of that team. Yeah, that's just my gut feeling. I could be wrong. I think, I had them going 12-4.
Mm-hmm.
I think this brings them down to 8-8.
8-8.
And they don't make the playoffs. The only thing that may save them, is they play in a terrible division. Because I don't think Atlanta's that good. They played much better last night than they did the week before, but I don't think they're that good. Carolina's got problems. I'm not quite sure where the problem is, but they got problems. If they don't make the playoffs, I think Ron Rivera's out. That's a hot seat for sure.
We talked about that too, right?
Yeah,
in the preview?
We did. And Tampa's a shit show.
Tampa, I'm very scared of Tampa next week.
For the Giants?
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, because the Giants are
No. I think you're undermining a little bit on the defensive side.
Underestimating?
I'm
not undermining anything. I don't have any influence.
I don't even know what the fuck undermine means, but whatever.
There you go.
On the defensive side, the Bucks are good. They're good. Offensively, not so much because Winston is still back there throwing crabs left and right.
Crabs?
Crabs. Remember he got caught stealing crabs?
Oh. I was like, crabs? I was like, good God.
He doesn't throw footballs. He throws crabs.
Does he have herpes or something? Is he having unprotected sex?
I don't know. Him and Darnold really need to talk.
No, they don't. I don't want Darnold talking to Jameis Winston.
No, so yeah, the Bucks defense is pretty good. They got your boy Devin White. Isn't Devin White from Bush? Devin Bush? Isn't Devin Bush?
Devin Bush is on the Steelers.
Oh, he's on the Steelers? Okay. Then they got Devin White. Okay.
Yeah.
One Devin, two Devin.
Wrong Devin. Not interested.
But yeah, no, I get. I mean, the Tampa Bay doesn't really stand a chance in that division, but don't overlook them.
Yeah, well. Yeah, I think we've hit on just about everything.
All right, you got to get something to eat. I got to go watch football.
Not a bad way to go. Episode 92. James Harrison.
I was going to say Reggie White.
Reggie White, that's better than mine. Mine was more recent. Yours was more impactful.
Shit, I'm Michael Strahan.
Michael Strahan, impactful and recent, right? Dude's on TV.
That's
Not
right.
wearing 92, but
No.
man,
He still got the gap.
Can you believe that guy? He's made, like, what a transition, right? To go from big, badass football player to Good Morning America. You know, like, it's kind of incredible when you think about it.
But he really wasn't a big, bad dude. He's really a good guy, and he's easy to...
Yeah,
he's
no,
likable.
but it's not like he was the punter. You know what I mean? He played in the trenches in the NFL.
Yeah.
Right? That's a big, bad dude. Whether he's a nice guy or not.
Right.
He's kind of, I mean, big, bad dude in, physical presence. And now he does Good Morning America, which is...
I know.
You're drinking a cup of coffee and...
Oh, yeah. Pinkies up, bitches.
Talking about the latest child that was adopted.
He's got a good personality for that.
Yeah, no, he's a cool dude.
Yeah, he is.
He seems like a really cool dude.
I've never met him. Maybe
never
Michael
met him.
Strahan, you want to meet me one day?
Man, that's pretty good. We came up with three pretty good 92s. That's better than we have been doing.
I'm sure there's more.
Oh, well, yeah, definitely.
So, all right.
You got a shout out?
No shout out.
No shout out.
I can't think of one.
You can't think of one?
I can't think of a shout out.
My shout out goes to whatever fans showed up in Miami for that football game. If you still go to Miami Dolphins football games, man, my hat's off to you. You are truly hardcore. Because there's got to be better things to do in Miami than to watch the Miami Dolphins right now.
Yeah, I'm surprised they still play in Miami.
It's terrible. It's absolutely terrible. Well, folks, share your thoughts on all the stuff we've talked about today. The NL wildcard race, the MVP race in the American League, the NFL, Drew Brees, Ben Roethlisberger. Your overreactions, I'd love to hear them. You can reach the show via email, positivesports10@gmail.com, positivesports10@gmail.com. If you want to compliment Alex on his spiffy shirt today and his No Hat Monday.
Should have done it collar up.
Oh, yeah, you should have done that. That would have been
cool
much cooler. Just like the Fonz. You can reach him on Twitter.
At Brooklyn Gaucho 1.
Excellent. And if you want to now criticize me as the boring guy in the white shirt, you can do so on Twitter as well, at eMontana21. Thank you very much for listening. As always, ignore the negativity. Be the positivity.
Peace.